afternoon, good morning, hello everybody. This is Two-Way Radio. We are here this morning again, and you are highly welcome. We appreciate your audience with us this morning. Today is Saturday, and we are glad to bring you a special edition. Today's edition focuses on the U.S. Ambassador's statement, and we want to give a critical look on the ambassador's statement. And so, stay with us. We, as we discuss the matter, recently the United States ambassador spoke about several issues, and those issues is now the talk of uh, the talk among Liberians. There are some who are criticizing the ambassador. There are some who believe that the ambassador indeed spoke of the issues that are affecting the country. And what is the position of the Liberian government on the U.S. ambassador's comment? Today, we thought it wise to give a critical view on the ambassador's statement because we think some persons did not understand the U.S. ambassador's statement. And so they are interpreting it in many forms to the extent that some are even insulting the ambassador, so to speak. Some are giving interpretation to the ambassador's statement, and in our mind, we think that some of these interpretations suggest that some persons, need to be educated or need to be told what the statement is all about. What did the U.S. ambassador say? You and I, by now, those of you who are officials of government, you have an idea as to the role of an ambassador accredited to a country. In the current situation, Ambassador Michael A. McCarthy is not just an ambassador to Liberia. He has several portfolio. For some of you who don't know the ambassador, it's important, and I think you should have taken your time to ask yourself, who is this man? Try to do a little bit of study about his background before you address him. That's one issue. Another issue is in governance, who supposed to respond to the ambassador's statement? If an ambassador accredited to a country makes a statement, probably a statement that is of concern to the host country, who's supposed to respond to the ambassador? That's the second issue. The third issue is, what are the things the ambassador said that are so concerning? That's the third issue. The fourth issue we want to talk about is, what is the reality of the ambassador's statement? Having said those, let's look at the background, a little bit of background. I'm not here to introduce an ambassador, but it's important that people know their peers. You don't just talk to anybody the way you feel like talking. When you are an official of government, you should know how government functions. The ambassador to Liberia, Ambassador McCarthy, he serves in Johannesburg, South Africa. Ambassador McCarthy served in South Sudan. Ambassador McCarthy serves in Germany, Eritrea. He also served as a country desk officer for West Africa, not just Liberia. The little bit of information we know about Ambassador McCarthy should inform all government officials that the US government is represented to Liberia by Ambassador McCarthy. Hence, if Ambassador McCarthy did make a statement assuming that the government was not happy with the ambassador's statement, there are procedural steps that the government should have approached in addressing the ambassador's statement, not the way it went. Ambassador McCarthy spoke to the three branches of government. His statement, he spoke to the executive branch of government. He spoke to the legislative branch. The ambassador spoke to the judicial branch, and he spoke to Liberians. But the only person that responded to the ambassador was the city mayor, Jefferson Koji, because he felt offended. Why? Because the ambassador said or emphasized how the Liberian government should not be requesting for foreign funds for the cleaning of the city. It's a hard fight, whether you like it or not. To sweep, the Liberian government should provide money to clean the city. There are very high priorities that the government should be seeking foreign funds, not to sweep the city. He just thought to remind the executive branch of government that you have a responsibility to clean the city. And if you appointed someone to clean the city, this person, if he has a problem, if he doesn't have funding, it is not him, assuming that he wants to even ask for donor funds or want to ask for assistance. The city mayor should be asking the executive branch, his boss, to request funding. To make a statement as though the foreign partners accredited to Liberia are not helping the current government was below the belt. And we think George Weah himself should have handled Jefferson Koji rather than Jefferson Koji making statement to the US ambassador. These things suggest to people as though the government of the day does not understand the protocol of governance. If the ambassadors address the issue, or he did address the issue of the dirty city, and that offended the government has an information minister. But even that role is not for the information minister. The government has the foreign minister. The foreign minister should be able to communicate with the ambassador, not the city mayor. Because we all saw how the city mayor himself addressed the ambassador. Very abusive. That was not governmental. That was some childish play. And we think the government, the issue is still a hot issue. And we think the government herself still needs to take an action. Jefferson Koji is addressing the ambassador's statement, talking about he wanted to nip whatever. That was, I don't know how to describe it, but I think that should have, in fact, gotten the attention of the president. George Weah should have there and then immediately addressed the situation. Jefferson Koji's statement warranted his suspension. If he can dismiss him, his statement warranted his suspension. He did not just respond to the ambassador, but he did respond to the U.S. government, because the ambassador represents the U.S. government. And the country like Liberia that is struggling, that needs the assistance of foreign countries, Liberia is a traditional partner to that country. So for a little boy like Jefferson Koji to address the ambassador the way he did, he should have been penalized by the government. Whether the government will do so or not is up to them. They have their own way of dealing with their government. But any serious government who are punish Jefferson Koji, because don't think the ambassador has not noted Jefferson Koji's statement. He may not talk about it. You may hear him laughing. You may hear him making some diplomatic statements. But don't think he's going to let that go like that. He's not going to respond like a child. But the ambassador, in my view, and I think in the view of like-minded people, they are aware that Jefferson Koji did insult the ambassador, and not just the ambassador, but the U.S. government. If you don't know diplomacy, you don't have the education as to how to govern, it is important that people restrict themselves. So Jefferson Koji should have been suspended. If George Weah doesn't know that, if George Weah does not suspend Jefferson Koji or does not take any action against Jefferson Koji, it means then that whatever Jefferson Koji said is at his knowledge. He acquiesced to that. That's what we suggest. And by extension, the Liberian people will be seen as people who are so disrespectful to the U.S. government. Is that a situation? No, it is Jefferson Koji who probably, very likely, did not know what to say or what to do. He decided to respond to the U.S. ambassador. Even in governance, whether he even had the best statement to deliver, his role is to clean the city. Is there to clean the dirt, not to respond to a foreign diplomat accredited to Liberia. So you should do the best you can to restrict him, to inform him. If you can penalize him, you people now, by this time, you all should have been telling him that let him keep his mouth shut. We cannot degrade the country. It is your time to rule, but you all should know what to do. If somebody make a mistake, if you can do nothing, by this time, George Weah should have either instructed the foreign minister to meet the ambassador and discuss some of these issues. Either behind closed door, you can go and apologize to the ambassador and set the record straight. And how you're going to handle Jefferson Koji, that one is up to you people. But that's the first thing that we thought to emphasize. The foreign minister should be communicating with the ambassador, not Jefferson Koji. Even the grammatical errors that came from Jefferson Koji just revealed a lot of stuff. That is up to George Weah to make those decisions, whatever he wants to do. It is him that appointed him. That's the first thing. The second important thing is that the ambassador spoke because taxpayers of the United States government, their money is going into Liberia. Because of that, he outlines certain things, and those things should be of concern. Is it not true that Monrovia is dirty? How did Liberia get to where it is with with a huge pile of dirt? How? When you take government and you're appointing people to position, you don't just take even a high school graduate. In the 70s, the 80s, people had a cadet program where people got to be trained. People were placed in positions in these ministries and agencies, and people learn along the line and they grew into ministries and agencies. Some of them came from sweeping to get to the top. Or you people came, you say, okay, yeah, that was time. Your time, you take anybody and place them in position. Now, these are some of the results. How do you handle it? It's up to you, the government. But this is not something that George Weah should let go like that. I mean, I know you're not going to do nothing, but we just have to say it. I'm not even sure that we have things that something went wrong. But you're dealing with the powerful country in the world. And the little child is sitting down there talking trash. And you're sick that thing you're running a government. You want to sacrifice the country for a low boy that you appointed into a position that when he misbehaves, you cannot call him to point, you cannot punish him. Jefferson called you sport because he knows nothing going to happen to him. He probably didn't even know the weight of the ambassador. So we have to talk, and you all that are governing, from the president downward, the boys in your court as to how you're going to address it. You can say, let's sleeping dog lie. This is not sleeping dog lie. The U.S. embassy, they want to do, the people take record. Even Nalo Bosa, his own future. Just say the mayor, you don't even go nowhere yet. Very soon you're going to be what? Broke like no one else. And who knows? You might have an opportunity to travel to the States and go to school. Do you know who you're going to meet tomorrow? That's one of the issues that we thought to discuss. Now, the issue of the diet is a policy. I may think it should be a policy issue by now. All of you guys should be having cabinet meetings. You know, I don't know whether we don't hear about cabinet meetings, but I'm sure some of these matters, when they are raised from, permanent people, you all supposed to have meetings and know how to go about it. For God in heaven's sake, if Monrovia is there, somebody comparing like Monrovia to that of New York, Philadelphia, and want us to buy the idea that Liberia, Monrovia is like these cities. Really? Nobody's saying there's no dirt here. But there's nobody in America that can tell you that in a week time, the trucks go around every community and take out trash and carry whatever they have to carry it. So you can compare the US to that of Monrovia. Howbeit, we know those who are making these statements. But the important thing is Liberia can be better when you apply more seriousness. The deck can be clean if you all decide to design a strategy. There will be nothing serious. People, the Western world, people have head on their shoulders and people brainstorm to find solutions to problems. If you are having cabinet meetings on some of these matters, it's very likely that somebody you're not even thinking about can make a suggestion. And that could be a perfect decision that could help to clean the city. But if you put in your own fold that you should listen to one another, the rest of the cabinet ministers and agencies or head of agencies don't have idea, that's why things going the way they're going. If you were having cabinet meetings on major issues, you will have a solution. There are people who ideas can spring from people, and those ideas can turn into some serious proposals. You could have a to-do list, and then you could help the city mayor to do the cleaning up. So the ambassador's decision or his statement was addressing, he spoke to the executive branch of government. That's my own analysis right now. He spoke to the executive branch of government. And one of the issues you spoke about, what will Liberia's first American-born president says if he was to ever come back today and say, oh, yeah, let me walk through Monrovia. Let me see the city that I left behind. What will you say? There's no doubt you will say the city is dirty. This is not how I expect it to be. We that are living, we're telling you guys the city is dirty. Much more to tell me if J.J. Rabbit was to come and walk through Monrovia, go Waterside, go to Pinsville Red Light. What do you think he would say? Perhaps with some embarrassment, he may even hold his nose to pass. Isn't that facts? Do you need to argue on that? No matter how you said it, if you even suggested in any form of manner that foreigners should give you money, the foreign government should give you money to clean the debt, it's a shame. It's a disgrace. How you handle it, whatever you want to say, the ambassador said it squarely. I know the ambassador going to praise you people. Now, you people don't even understand how these diplomats, address these issues. They will laugh with you, they will eat with you, they will drink with you, but they are serious-minded people. As you get up to speak, they write. They take notes. So why don't you people take his statement in good faith and work on those things that he emphasized? Rather than somebody coming out to think that they know too much and then they're trying to nip whatever, wherever. And you'll sit there, you're pretending as though nothing happening. So for the day, Monrovia is dirty. Liberians are saying it. Other foreign partners have said it before. The ambassador just emphasized that Monrovia is dirty. Whether you clean it or not, he's doing you a favor to emphasize, hey, you need to clean the city. That's what he's telling you. If Jefferson cannot clean the city, there are some other Liberians who can clean the city. Take it from there and put somebody else there and try someone else. It is not George Weah who feels that these people around him are the best Liberian that he ever met in his lifetime. Very likely, there are more Liberians who can perform the duty of city mayor than Jefferson Koji. So for the day, it's up to you guys to do the best you can. Next year is election. Liberians going to be using these situations as campaign messages. What are you going to be responding to? What are you going to be saying? So the ambassador is helping you that these issues will become campaign issues and they will work against you. So it is your time to take these issues and address them now. saying you didn't address it 4 years ago, you can now decide, okay, you are locked today. There are people who speak. Ambassador not forced to speak to you on this matter. You are kept quiet. And y'all think everything is well. But he's helping the Liberian government to say, hey, there are concerns here. You don't know how many persons speaking to the ambassador. Even the congressional delegation that went to Monrovia, you don't know the kind of discussions they had. Some of you people, when you hear the people say, oh yeah, Josh, we're going to support you and this and that, that's all they know. The people, they are diplomats. They are people, they are not there to bring the government down. They come to visit, they give you all the nice words, but mind you, when you're talking, they're taking note. When you walk around, they're taking notes. So you can't think that all is well. When you know yourself, all is not well. You can't pretend to that extent. George Weah, you need to suspend Jefferson Koji. That's one issue. One major issue of the topic this morning. Or you can let him go. You just live with it. Okay? The second issue is the lawmakers, the legislators, representatives of Liberia. The ambassador needs not to tell any of you that your votes need to be counted and Liberians need to know how you vote. The ambassador has to say that to you? No. The ambassador was telling you that in this age and time, after 175 years, a country that is electing citizens to represent them is saying, yeah is nothing. You do it because you want to just please yourself, please your parties. In this age and time, when a local county vote, it should be recorded. A Maryland vote, it should be recorded. A Grand Jury vote, it should be recorded. Those representatives should be re-elected on the basis of the decisions they made in the past. And the only way to know that is to go back to the record, go to the records and see how they voted, how they represented their people. That's what the ambassador was telling people. You represent, I think, 20,000 persons in the electoral district for those who are representing districts. I don't know what they have there now. I think that is a census, that's a constitutional provision. I don't know how they have the demarcation, whatever going on, I don't know. Census, that one, the constitutional issue, that, I think that those one have been violated already. That's a different issue for another day. The Constitution say in 10 years you might have a census. You will give excuse to that. But that is not an issue for today. The issue for today is the Speaker, Buffer Chambers, the man who used to stand on the floor to debate the issues and were respected. Today he's Speaker. He needs not to be told that in this age and time, since J.J. Robert being dead and gone, J.J. Robert, you will not come back to tell you people. Ambassador McCarthy is in Liberia as ambassador. He just reminded you people. He's now forced to say it. All of you representatives, you are taking $30,000 from the coffers. You can't put money together and buy these electronic machines. Now, when you vote, your votes will register. You don't even want people to count your hands when you put your hands up. Some people don't even want to be recognized on issues. They fit on your past budget. The national budget, millions of dollars, you're passing. You don't even know who voted for the passage of that budget. And Bobby Chima government say, anyone who want the budget pass, say, yeah, it pass. In this age and time, the ambassador just reminded you people, he needs not to say it. If any of you love Liberia, no one needs to tell you people to put money aside. You don't need foreign donor or funding for that. You don't need congressional people to come from here and go tell you people, hey, you need equipment to count your votes. Liberia has money to buy a machine to count votes. Just as Koji not need to ask for money to sweep the city of Monrovia, you lawmakers, you don't need money to find a machine to count your own votes. There are bigger issues that should be asking the foreigners for money, not to count your vote. They might get your money first before, or they might buy a machine and send it to you before. You buy the machine, say you will not use it because they intend. Now, what the ambassador said, it is purposeful. Purposefully, you people are doing it because why? You don't want your vote to be counted. You don't want Liberians to know how you voted. That's what he said. It's shameful on all of you guys, representatives and senators. What's stopping you people to buy machines? If you can buy machines, what are the ideas you're going to put forth to be innovative, to encourage young Liberians to be innovative and do other stuff? You can't buy a machine to count your votes. But you know, Ambassador McCarthy said it. The decision is with Liberians. Liberians will have to make the decision as to how they want their country to move forward comes 2023. If they want the same way the country is running for from now to the 6 years over, it's up to them. But we think, I hope some of you will swallow the pride and take some decision in the next few days. You can order the machine. You don't have an idea. There are a lot of folks in that country, computer engineers, Liberians. You don't have the idea that people who have the idea, they can buy those machines. And you guys can install it within no time. And you can begin to count your votes. The ambassador don't need to say it for someone to eulogize and think that, the ambassador probably doesn't have nothing to say or whatever. He knows the importance of legislative decisions. The decisions you made, they are laws. And because the decisions you made, they are laws, what is wrong with Liberians? And I mean, when I was sitting at the legislature as President Public Affairs Director, I had a curiosity to write and publish the record of the NTLA. But people believe eating money is more important than leaving behind the history of their workings. Trust me, some of them today, Liberians don't know their names. Sooner or later, some of you, Liberians, will not even think that you ever represented them in the House or Senate. Because your interest is the money you will get and not to write the history for generations. Some of you don't even think the next 30 years you're not going to be on the face of this earth. Like myself sitting down here. So you go right ahead and think getting money is all about life. No. When you leave history, there are children's children. Your great-great-grandchildren will come. Oh, my granddad was in the House before. He was a representative. He was a senator. That's what people live for. The money is not for you. You can get millions of dollars maybe under your mattress or in your house. It's not yours. That money will go back to where it comes from. And some of you may not be able to even have money. We don't need to tell you some of the records, some of the things that we are hearing about some of those who have been in our very house before. So why don't you leave behind a legacy of Liberians tomorrow? can pick out a book and say, oh, my granddad, oh, he voted right. He voted on this bill. It was my dad who introduced this bill. You all must be very serious. So the ambassador emphasized that you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing, lawmakers. He was very diplomatic on it. But in short, some of us, we're telling you that the ambassador knows that you are not doing what you're supposed to do. So the best you can do right now is, it's not because the ambassador said it. Because some of you think, oh, because the ambassador said it, when we buy the machine, we'll say, oh, because the ambassador said it. No. It would become very important if a wise man listened to another wise man and then an action was taken. That will go down in history for your generations to come and see. So that's one issue that the ambassador emphasized, the importance of recording your votes. And please, do not allow this year to end. Speaker Chimos, if you want to, you can do it. Joy, you be part of the executive, but right now you presiding. Administratively, we know the pro tem should be able to coordinate a lot of stuff. But you can make a lot of things happen. It is you that control the votes. You yourself should ensure that the votes of senators are recorded. Hence, you ensure that there is a machine to count the vote of senators on every decision. It's not about whether somebody from the executive don't like it or not. Make sure you take a decision to buy those machines before the year comes to an end. That's a challenge you all have. That's two issues, right? The date and the voting machine. If you want to ask the U.S. government, the ambassador said it already, the congressional people are giving you a machine. But for God in heaven's sake, sometimes some of those gestures tell the people, so we don't need this. Help me with this. Help the government with this. We ourselves can buy this one. You know, like the Ukrainian president. Say, no, I don't need a ride. All I need, just give me ammunition. We can fight. Or else, if you were like some of you people, you would have been sitting in America. Then they take over his land. So, in short, you can buy the voting machines. Senators and representatives, you can buy those machines. You can have them installed in a month time if you want it done. Better still, before the year comes to an end, you can still do it. When you don't do it until the year comes to an end, it's a shame on all of you people. And we will come right back on this forum again, tell you people and ask questions. If you do it, we'll clap for you guys. We join the ambassador to call on all of you people to buy the voting machine. If the congressional people want to give it to you, you want to hold it, that's fine. But if it was me, hey, go look in your budget. Take money from there, find the costs, and do cost analysis, and buy the machine. And call and write to congressional people, oh, thank you so much, we appreciate our own foundation, we have bought our own machine. Thanks a lot. You can divert that gift to something else. Okay? Citizens. The ambassador spoke to Liberians in general. I'm sure most of you didn't see that, right? Yeah, most of you did not see that. The ambassador said decisions are made by Liberians. Liberians are the one who decide how that country should be. If you elect somebody, the performance of that person who appoints other group of persons, the performance should encourage you to vote them in during the next election. You have 6 years to make a decision every time. After 6 years, you will live with the consequences and wait for another 6 years. So this is the time people are pointing out those things that the government should have done, and they are not doing it. And they are reminding you citizens that it is your decision that bring about these governments. And it is your decision that will make these people to still be in power and keep the country the way it is for another 6 years. The ambassador emphasized that there is corruption in the land. He needs not to say it. Ambassador McCarthy needs not to say it. There's corruption in the land. All right? So, what you like is what will continue. You have the right, the Constitution says it. Not just Ambassador McCarthy, the Constitution says you have a right to change a government. That's a powerful statement in the Liberian Constitution. How are you going to act 2023 is up to you. I'm not here to tell you, say, don't vote for Weir or vote for Weir. You need to vote for someone who will change your situation. If Weir is changing your situation, vote for him. If he's not changing your situation, don't vote for him. Comes 2023. If in 6 years there is improvement in your life, then there's a reason to vote for George Weir and his group. But if in 6 years you have no improvement in your life, you have the worst of situation, then you need not to vote for them. Because why? Your situation will be worse for another 6 years. I mean, that will be 12 years, your life will be in miserable conditions. Why these people keep enjoying? But if the performance of the government that change your life and improve the life of your children, then there is reason why you should vote for them. Ambassador McCarthy just told you that, hey, you have a right. Those rights that you have, you can exercise them. When? Just next year. Next year, you have another chance to change the situation. It's not just the ambassador that said it. Joe Biden, is our Baker. The lady that came the last time, she said corruption is eating the country. All right. And she emphasized the need and the right that is with Liberians to make a decision as to how they can fight corruption. So whatever you do, you can decide which way to go. If you're pleased with the current situation, fine enough. If you're not pleased with the Constitution, you have the right to change the government. Nobody says go take guns. No. Your vote is important. Very, very important. Don't sit and suffer yourself for another 6 years. If all is well, then you have a chance. Another thing the ambassador also emphasized was the issue of people stealing medication. Isn't that an important issue for the George Weah government to even sit or have an audience with the ambassador and begin to understand some of the things he's hearing, some of the information he has? This is not new. From time immemorial, there was a drugstore right opposite JFK. When we were in Tottenham High, we were hearing all of those things. People steal drugs from JFK, they carry right across there, and then people, you go to hospital when they prescribe a medication, they send you right across there and you buy the medication from them. The ambassador just emphasizing this thing. Whatever the ambassador said, we have heard it before. But he's telling you, George Weah, you the executive, you the head of government, he's telling you that medication, people steal drugs intended for the poor people. Okay? He's telling you that people steal drugs. So if George can tell me that you have not heard this before. There's no Liberian in my mind except the kids who have not heard that before. So these are pieces of information that the government should act on. These are tools that the ambassador gave you, pieces of information that you can deal with. How you want to deal with it is up to you. You want to ignore it, it's also up to you. It is important that these things can stop. If people are donating or providing drugs to JFK, these drugs should be accounted for. If they are not properly accounted for, the health ministry, in fact, if you are a health minister and have a drugstore, there's a need that people need to audit you. If you are a health minister, in fact, the General Auditing Commission, I am calling on the General Auditing Commission to take the ambassador's statement very seriously and probably conduct an audit on drugs that are being given to the JFK or other medical facilities in Liberia. And if, for example, the health minister has a drugstore, that health minister needs to be audited. Conflict of interest. When you begin to do these things, you will get resolved. Somebody want to say the ambassador should do certain thing or give money to people and that kind of thing. The ambassador knows what is going on. Or somebody say, okay, the ambassador knows that people are stealing and money, corruption. Why they keep giving money? There are two factors. Whether the ambassador likes it or not, the United States government has a policy towards other nations, friendly nations. They're not going to stop. How to do it, they know how to go about it. They're going to keep giving. So when you mismanage, trust me, there may just be some time you may have your own low situation. But they're not going to make it stop and say, okay, we're not going to get it. They know that there are poor people in this country that need assistance. It's not because of corrupt people they will not give for these people to be heard. So it's of no issue to debate about. All you do is people are stealing drugs. Okay, as president, maybe you could set up a committee to investigate what the ambassador said, or you could just have an audience with the ambassador and begin to see where his comments are coming from. Or call your health minister, you are discussing matter, or call your cabinet, you are discussing. Perhaps you all know the issue better than someone else, than the ambassador. So those are the cardinal issues that the ambassador emphasized. The rule of law, that is for the judiciary. Honestly, there's a lot of things that are going on right now. It's about Cummings. Sometimes you say it, people think like, okay, people want Cummings to become president. I don't care really. Cummings become president, that's it. Liberians going to decide, it's not me. Even if I were to vote, it's just one vote. So you all need to do the best you can. All of these things the ambassador emphasized, take them in good faith. Stop all your surrogates. They should not be attacking the ambassador. It's not good for the country. Somebody say Koji is not an ordinary person. He's an official of government. If he makes a statement from the circle of government, nobody needs to tell George where what Koji has done is damaging the image of the government. You think George doesn't know that? If he doesn't know that, means he doesn't know how to govern. If Koji An honor man. Koji and the ambassador, they're not even on par. So for Koji to come out and then, issue insult, then somebody say that your personal statement, I mean, you yourself, you don't know nothing. Koji is not like someone who, like me, who's sitting down here now, I'm not in government. The ambassador, whatever I say to the ambassador will think that, okay, that gentleman, why would I think about it? But Koji is occupying a major position in government. It's not because of his age, it's not because of his limitation, but Koji is the city mayor of Monrovia, a very significant position. Then he's responding to the ambassador in an arrogant fashion. Then you say that your personal statement. That's how you guys can deceive these people. Koji did insult not only the ambassador, but his arrogance was towards the U.S. government. You think George Weah don't have the sense to know that? Or Nathaniel Magay cannot recognize that what Koji did was damaging their government? Or you think Samuel Tua don't know that? Except they all want to be deceptive to George Weah. And for me, I don't know what we do now. I've been telling you already. What George Weah, how Koji did was wrong. Koji and the ambassador are not even peers. He can't sit and think what he did was something. He called a press conference, empty press conference. If you say the ambassador should come to you to seek clarification, Jesus of Nazareth, the ambassador should come to seek clarification. Are you kidding me? Anyway, George Weah will deal with that if he does in whatever way. You get one more year, right? So you can correct those mistakes and encourage Liberians to vote for you come 2023. Right now, your low political game you're playing. If there was a survey, I would think people are on top. All right, the CPP, they by the way behind the button, they scatter themselves. So right now, Joe will have some low edge. How you're going to manage that is up to you, but you're spoiling it too. You're Koji now attacking the ambassador and others sitting there. Those are the issues, and I think you all need to be very serious about. The deck, you need to clean the deck. Go to the water side. Joey, have you ever walked, to see the deck people talking about? You need to do that. Don't sit at the mansion and then, keep enjoying yourself. Get outside. Go see what is happening outside. Where the deck people talking about, let me go see it. From there, you can call you and get you one way the demo be out. Whatever means. If you can do it, appoint someone else to do it. Because you is the only Liberian who can clean that. There are plenty of Liberians who know how to sweep very better. You see, the ambassador compared Monrovia to villages. And the ambassador was very clear. And I know that. When we were coming up, in the morning you wake up, even if you have a small little place in front of your house, the first thing you will do is to sweep that place before you go to school. I grew up in Monrovia, Grand Kidman County. Any of us who grew up in that place, we know how to sweep. Okay? So, if you don't know how to sweep, appoint somebody else. You don't know somebody again, I will tell you, somebody in Monrovia boys, and I can tell you, Joe, I can recommend some of them. They will help you to sweep that city. You make yourself so blind, you think the few of you are the only good Liberian who can do good work in that country. That's what's suffering you. If you are changed Koji or suspending somebody in a position, Koji will, trust me, he will sweep. The next time you bring it back, he will sweep up, he will take it there from wherever they are. While Joey is singing, Koji is dancing. That's what's happening. Again, those are the issues that we think we needed to just emphasize for you guys this morning. And we have 4 more minutes. We hope that each and every one of you will take government business serious. The judiciary, the rule of law, is something is I mean, if people want to mix politics with law, it's up to all of you people. You can better Liberia, or you all can help. I think people are taking advantage of what George Weah. That's my understanding. That's what I think. And which is not fair. But George Weah himself too. So that you want to say, but there are some things that just require common sense. If you are suspending people, dismissing people, just look for right people. You will have maybe the country would have gone better this year. Maybe you can make some better adjustment. George Weah dismissed some people. Simon Twe is not the only book person in that country. He's not the only accountant. Man say him a bookkeeping knowledge from Tottenham High. I think what Simon Twe doing, I think I even do better than him. But I don't want to be finance minister now, don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying, sure, there are more Liberians, professional accountants. So if somebody is not performing, what's stopping you to change them? Anyway, they say the president has the right to appoint anybody of his choice. And so you want to appoint anybody that your choice, George Weah, at your time. You can say, George Weah time. But be careful. You could be audited. And then all these people, there's something, I went to Liberia 2019, and there was some comment that I heard. George Weah, you don't know that people can sit and laugh at you, and those persons are your inner circle. And you don't know that. And I told somebody, I said, a book will be written by some of your inner circle, and they will tell the story about you, and we will read it. Either you'll be alive, but you may not be in government, or you may be dead, but the records will be there. Maybe some also will not even be there. Maybe some will be there too, before even those records are revealed. Everybody that around you, there are some people who taking note every day, and they will reveal information later. We will read, we'll know how you're behaving or what you're doing. So this is no time for sympathy. Somebody is not performing, change them, bring another Liberian in, and then you get your job, you get a Liberian poor white going. That's all we have for you guys today. And we want to say thanks to all of you being by our side. The ambassador is the U.S. ambassador accredited to Liberia. Give him courtesy. He represents the American government. All that he said, he's putting money in that country, and his statement is to ensure that our taxes being paid, some of which go into that country, is managed properly. So his voice was intended to caution all of you. It was not intended to disgrace anybody. It is us Liberians who feel that you, George Weah, and your lieutenants or your people are not performing very well. So Liberians are overly emphasizing what the ambassador said. And I think it's good for you. If you mean well, every comment to emphasize what the ambassador said will be taken into consideration. Thank you so much. And until next time, we will join you and bring you new development. As we listen to the unfolding development in Liberia, we will find the time to discuss the issues. And today has just been about talking about the U.S. ambassador's statement. The ambassador spoke to the executive branch of government, he spoke to the legislative branch of government, the judiciary, and Liberians in general. His statement was very short, but it was rewarding. Only if George Weah and his team can take the ambassador's statement in good faith. To Liberians, the ambassador just reminded you that your right to make a decision is with you. How you do it will determine the way you want to live the rest of your life. Jefferson Koji, there's a way out. And the way out is not to go to the ambassador. The foreign minister, that's why you appointed a good people. The foreign minister can help and talk. You all can decide how best to handle the matter. But importantly, I think George Weah should suspend for a few days, or a few weeks, or a few months. so that I think that lesson you can learn it. Okay. Thank you so much. This is 2A Radio, the African Action Network radio and television station. We are broadcasting from Pennsylvania, United States of America. Our anchor person is sitting pretty in Minnesota, Patient Blair. We say thank you so much for being there. And our correspondents in Liberia, they are not here today. This was a special edition. We say 2A Radio is going to be very forceful as we all approach the political season. We are not targeted, we are not hateful. We hope that a better Liberia will come even within the next 1 year of the George Weah's administration. Better still, the next government that will come if George Weah will not be elected comes 2023. If he's elected, well, that just is luck and Liberian people's decision. Until then, have a pleasant weekend. Before we go,